All right, here goes nothing. Redneck blinds together. Bubba rope is led to a strap, this is like I forgot if it's 57,000 pound working load. It's a lot. Strap is like 30 or 40. Then I have a Bubba rope Dyneema soft shackle on it. This is my first time lifting a blind up. And I do not want to have anything go wrong. I am going to smooth out with a shovel. It's probably going to end up a footish there, a footish. I made this a little bit loose because I want it to slide just a smidge. Hopefully the other one lands over there, and I'm going to fill in a little bit of dirt right here to make sure it's good and just clean up right there. That's next step. They recommend using the ladder as a fulcrum so that you start picking it up and eventually the ladder will drop off. Hopefully that's what happens. Then, like I said, we have a soft shackle here because it actually fit. I was going to use a 7/8 steel shackle, but I didn't have it. So we're going to use the Polaris with the winch. I already have the anchor line on here. There's another thing up there. That way I don't have to get on a ladder and screw around with that. Took a couple hours yesterday to put the whole legs on, and now that I've done it once, I think I can do it a lot faster. I had to undo it because I put the wrong ones where, see, it has a U, and then top, it has a lower, and then top. Well, I saw top and put it to the top, except for the L is for the lower section. So I screwed that up. So I had to, whoopsies, I had to change it. It's a bit of an OSHA hazard here. I'm using some 1,000-pound four-wheeler straps, as they recommend, into the little spots on the feet. And this keeps it from sliding this way when you're trying to tip it up, so this kind of keeps it from sliding at all. Hopefully, I made this not by purpose, mostly because the tree was in the way, so I had to cut it up. And it appears deer are coming through there. Deer come through right here. Stand will be in the middle. So for bow hunting, you can shoot either side, or you have opportunity either side, assuming your scent's under control. And then we have the field. And this is the back corner. So in theory, I'm ready to hook a winch to this. I'm gonna use this side by side, put it over there, hook a winch to it. We'll probably take up a ton of load with the side by side, and then you put it in park in 4-wheel drive, and then use the winch to winch it the rest of the way. And if it works, I won't be crying all the way home. The ladder is built. Obviously it's right there. I think I don't have any spare parts. I don't have any hard spare parts. I have some spare bolts, but I think they gave us some extra bolts, which is cool. I don't think there's any extra places to put bolts, so should be good there. Getting down the wire just a couple days before the season, I'm not too worried about that. The deer want this field anyway because of the corn. So I think we're in good shape. I'm working alone today, so yeah, this is the semi-engineered setup. That is done. This junction right here was done on necessity. My buddy was buried he was buried in snow, probably about 3 foot tall, framed out. Tires were just free spinning, and he was on ice, and all around ice. It was in a field in about a 0-degree day Fahrenheit. It was cold, and it took about a mile of bombing ditches and snowbanks to get to him, and this good old girl. And then I had to hook it with I used a hard shackle because it was going to be right up next to the truck, onto my D-ring on the left and tug the ever-living crap out of him. I went full throttle in reverse. I think it was like 14, 15 times to get him to budge, and then a couple more times just to keep. I moved him like 3 foot the first time, then another 6 foot the second time, then 12 foot, then 15. You know how it is. You guys have pulled things out. You get it to move in stages. So this got so tight. I purposely didn't. I had more shackles. I didn't want to put a shackle in the middle of the rope I knew I was going to be tugging on. So now I have a permanent, really heavy-duty strap on my bungee rope. And as you can see, the bungee rope really isn't all that long. They're very expensive. So I didn't order a longer one. This is so hard, you could probably use it as a hammer. So this is so tight, it'll never come apart. I tried with a pick. It will not come apart. And honestly, I don't mind it because then I have a bungee And this thing takes up the energy so you're not breaking the strap. The strap is stronger than the bungee, I think, or maybe it's, I've forgotten what the heck it is. This might be 40,000 pounds. I think this is 57,000 pounds, but whatever it is, it's more or less very close, and it becomes the weak link in the system. And with soft shackles, you don't have to worry about it coming back and smoking in your face. So when you're jerking, number one, you have the bungee absorbing the jerk. One of the considerations that I was thinking was, how is the bungee going to work in a steady state pull? Is it going to stretch so much that I'm going to waste all my winch line? That's why I'm going to pull the load on it first and maybe get it to move with the Polaris and then use the winch. So we'll see. This is a learning opportunity. I don't have a tractor big enough yet. Well, I mean, I suppose I could use it, but I really think it's going to be more controlled with a winch. The smaller tractor, I absolutely love the Kubota. You've heard me say it before. I also don't want to break it for fun. So, not that this would break it, it's just that it's really a residential tractor, or it has been for us, and I don't want to ruin it by using it for non-residential things. So, in theory, this might work. I really, really hope it works. I really hope it doesn't teeter this way, and I'm really worried about it teetering this way because there's kind of a low spot right here. So, what I'm hoping is if I can move some dirt, so especially right here looks a little bit low. It's just so heavy, and I'm only me, and I don't have a tractor to move it. I thought I had it in a really good spot. Once I built it, like I said, it looks like it's going to come this way. So once I put the legs on, I should have had the blind angled a little bit more this way, so that it was going to come like this, but then I'd have a hard time getting enough angle to pull it this way. So I think it'll work out okay. I need to come with a shovel and clean this up. I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight. The wind started blowing, as you can see. And I don't know if I want to do this like that. And the day's almost over anyway. So we'll do a review inside the Redneck. Why did I get the Redneck when I have the Mavs? Is I wanted to have, this is a really good spot, number one. And it's a good spot to have some elevation, and I thought that the stand was a really nicely designed stand, and I know now that I put together, it's a tank. I did break one bolt, but I'm pretty strong, and I over torque things all the time. So from then on, I just was a little bit more easy. Broke the head of the bolt off. But like I said, oopsies, I'm trying, guys. See, sheared right off. That's just tensile, pulling it apart. Looks like it's sheared and tensile right there. So, I thought these were grade, shoot, these might be grade 3s. They don't have the 5 hashes on them. They might just be grade 3s. So I was probably over torquing them. Oh well, I think it'll be okay. There was extra hardware, so that's not too bad. I think I'm going to try and spray paint this just because all the scratches bother me. It doesn't really matter. It's just in the fiberglass, but I'm pretty pleased with the Redneck. It makes a lot of sense how they designed it. The platform is rigid as hell. This whole platform is one piece right here, and because I didn't have a forklift or a tractor with forks, I had to tip it up like this and pick this up myself and line up all 4 of these bolts by sticking the bolts through, because you can't get inside of it when the thing's tipped over. So yes, it was a bit of a bear to put together. Those 4 were the hardest part, but the rest of it took the longest. The other thing I should have done too is turn the bolts the other way. It'll be fine. It's going to be in compression most of the time. I'm not that worried about it. I should have turned the bolts the other way. They're impeding into each other a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter long term. Like I said, they're tight enough. There's enough friction between the joint. I think it's going to be fine. I'm not too worried about it. If for some reason it was, I could replace them one by one if I really cared that much. But I do not think that is the limiting factor of this unit. But like I said, those 4 bolts right there that hold the fiberglass blind to the steel stand are a bear. If you had a forklift, you could put the forks in here, lift up and hold up the deal as somebody and you and your buddies put on your Redneck onto the steel stand, and then lift it up, and you can see on the underside where to move it. So you have a couple of buddies shimmy it back and forth while you're telling your guy up top when to push down with the bolt when you line it up, because when you're on the inside you really can't see through it. I mean, it's just too small of spots to hit, and trying to look through fiberglass that has little shards sticking out of it and stuff because it's just drilled holes, it wasn't practical. So the way I did it, I think, worked fine for me. I had to do it 3 or 4 times before I got it. And I'm hoping that pre-routing that cable works okay. I think it will. In theory, either tonight when the wind dies down, I come back here with the winch and winch it up. And in theory, we'll have a stand. I did beat in those. It comes with 4 giant stakes that are at least 24 inches long. You use 2 of them to help with this portion, then we'll pull them out. I hope they come out okay. They probably will because they're being loaded from the side right now, as you can see. So in theory, it's going to be hard to pull out that way, but it might help when you want to pull them out vertically. Hopefully that works okay, and I put them in on an angle so they don't want to pull out. Sorry, it's a family channel. Yeah. It is a good bit of work on your own. Squirrel. Little red squirrel. So yeah, I'm kind of reeling from first day we did the base and the rein and the legs, and then I just did the cross members and then tightened, torqued everything and built this ladder, which is hefty. It's a really nicely built ladder. So I would say you're getting what you pay for with these. I'm pretty impressed with the overall construction. The feet have nice little holes in them that will slam the stakes in, so we'll put 4 stakes in. And I was able to hit them in with a hatchet with the hammer end. So if you had like a 5-pound hammer, you're going to be able to do it easily on. I mean, obviously there's rock here, but it's not super crazy rocky because I'm sure that this field has been picked through many billions of times for rocks. So I'm sure that there's some rocks down there, but I didn't hit any. It's not like I have shale or anything. And that way, they were talking about that you might want to use cement and drill auger a hole and cement the stakes in. You may want to weld like a base pad on the bottom of the stakes too, so that maybe the cement goes with the base pad on the bottom, so the cement is, you know what I'm trying to say. It's actually got a physical bond instead of just between the friction of the stake and the cement. The deal that comes with it is right there. Once we get it in, we'll pick the middle, which will probably be somewhere in there, and we screw that in the ground, hook up the turnbuckle. These are little kickers, these guys. I'm not really sure how they work. We're going to have to see how they look because it looks like they're just going to be held in with friction. I'm assuming when the ladder fits on, it's probably going to go on that cross beam with this second one down. But to be perfectly honest with you, I'm having a hard time seeing where it's going to come close enough. But maybe it will, or maybe it's the ones on the bottom. I honestly don't know. We'll see how that works out. You need a 9/16 wrench, and I used a crescent wrench because I'm lazy. And then these clips clip the ladder in, so you can take the ladder down. So if you're going to go out of town, you don't want to have kids come up. If you have a problem with kids coming into your stuff, or you can take them down off season or during the season if you're not going to be hunting, you can take it down so someone else doesn't use it. Yeah, there's lots of cardboard to get rid of. So we're getting to the crunch time, and honestly, I'm really just talking with you guys because I am tired from doing this, and I'm really excited. So I'm just kind of relaxing. I'm sure this video is going to be longer than it needs to be. What do I have in my hands here? Oh, the broken pieces we already went through. So we had extra, so it's not that big a deal. The nut is pretty well stuck on here without putting in a vise and cranking it off because of the busted threads. So yeah, hopefully the hardware holds up. I'm sure it will because I have a really bad habit of over-torquing things. I was only using a 3/8 ratchet driver, but I would not be surprised if I could put 80 foot-pounds through that. Easy. So yeah, it's probably my fault. I'm probably going to pre-set up this this stake with a turnbuckle in it really quick so that it's all tightened. That's sitting in there. So that way all we have to do is spin it into the ground. Yeah. It comes with a bow and or gun hoist line. Obviously you put that onto your rack so you hoist your gun over your bow or crossbow or whatever you might be using, muzzle loader, smoke tube, all those fun things. But yeah, I'm pretty jazzed. We'll see how this works. Definitely highly recommend the Redneck as well as for what it's good for. Obviously the cost is higher. The setup is a lot more involved. It's a lot heavier. So on one hand, it might stay in place in a big storm, but you're going to stake it down anyway. The windows are very nice. We'll go through it when it's up. I have played with it a little bit while I was on the ground because I kept using it for shelter while I was pouring down rain yesterday while I was setting this up. My family and I kept getting inside and waiting it out for the rain to go away. But I did move everything so the windows aren't contacting anything on the ground. This we had, brush mode with my buddy's tractor. In theory, when I take load up on that, hopefully this will slide just a smidge, so it'll angle it a little bit more that way. Or that way, I suppose, would be. And then in theory, as you can see, I have this angle just like the video showed, because as you pull on this and this starts to turn, this will direct the force continuing up. So it wants to lift this. And then in theory, once it gets past center a little bit, it'll start loosening it up and then it might fall down as the line lifts up off it. So we will see how this works. I will probably have my better half around the winch line so that I can be here to steady it. I am going to tie a preventer on it so that someone can hold, as in somebody like me, can hold this so it doesn't tip this way or something like that. Because obviously this thing would freaking hurt you. It doesn't weigh like a crazy amount. 2 guys can pick it up. But I wouldn't want to like carry it 200 yards with 2 guys. That would really suck. I wouldn't want to carry it 100 yards with 2 guys. It would be a lot of work. Your back would hurt. But you could do it. It wouldn't be fun. I would imagine they show a video of 5 guys being able to put this up. I do not doubt that you could, because it's really not that heavy. I can shimmy it around a little bit just on my own. From what it felt like, I'm going to guess that platform weighed 200 pounds. I'm going to bet all these arms weigh another 200 pounds. And that thing probably weighs 250 pounds. So it's unwieldy, and I would not want to pack it in somewhere, but it's really not terrible considering what it is. So I think it's really well designed. These cross braces are easy to put together. I mean, it looks kind of complicated, and at first I was like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. Really didn't take that long. And it's very intuitive. You just kind of figure out that you're going to have one bolt going into 3 different holes, so you plan ahead and put it in while you're doing it. It's really not too bad. Anybody with a half a brain can figure this out. You can sit and have a 6-pack with your buddies and do it with your friends, or you can do it on your own like I did, preferably without a 6-pack, because, I mean, I guess it did take some thought, but it's something you could relax in. If you had your property up north, you could probably put up 2 or 3 of these in a weekend if you had you and your buddy and both of you mechanically inclined. I would say you probably could. Two, maybe 3 in a whole weekend, from start to finish. So if you have a job like that, I mean, if you have any questions too, if you're looking at getting one of these, shoot me I wish that YouTube had like a DM, like direct message kind of thing. But feel free to comment, and if you want, you could always post up your email or something like that, and then post it up. I'll comment like K or something. And this goes for any video. If you have a question or you want to post up your email to direct write, as soon as I write K, you can go ahead and delete it or something like that. So that way, if you don't want to have your email being advertised over the internet, if you're watching this and you're on the channel or whatever, and you want to, if you want to contact me, write up your email. I'll write you an email if you need pictures or if you need explanation or something like that on any topic, whether it's trucks or off-roading, or, I mean, I'm not a great hunter, but I'm not a bad hunter. I'm learning. So, I am relatively studied in deerland related things. So if you have any questions, shoot me a comment. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hopefully this was helpful for you deer hunters or anybody interested in potentially putting up what it might take to put up an elevated stand. I think this thing is going to be awesome. There's plenty of room. If you liked each other, you could have a husband, wife, and a kid in here if everyone's going to get along. You could hunt with 2 buddies in here. There's enough room. But you'd have to like each other. I mean, if you're going to sit for 4 or 5 hours together, you kind of got to be able to get along. And if you had, a grandkid or something like that, this would be a great place to teach your grandkid how to hunt, or a son, or a daughter, or nephew, or cousin, or whatever. You know what I'm saying. Great place for that. Keep your family out of the weather. Keep their scent under control. If you have family that doesn't understand the concept of controlling scent or going out there in clean fashion, and clean, not smelling like soap. I remember when I first started hunting, I always took a shower before I hunted. I didn't know any better. See, I had the theory right, is you want to not smell like an ape, but you also don't want to smell like Dove. So, I guess you learn as you go. Hopefully this was helpful. I know it's 20 minutes. You guys know I like to talk. Hopefully it helped you guys out. then like I said, please like and subscribe. I really enjoy making these for you guys, and it makes a huge difference. Number one, when you guys tell me, good job, or you write a comment, good video, whatever, it really makes me feel good. And if you leave a like, it also makes me feel really good. And seeing the views and the time that you guys spend watching my material, it makes me feel really, really good. So thank you. And I know I'm just still talking. I do that. You subscribers know. Have a wonderful day, and good luck this season.